looks something like this.
You're watching coverage you can count on. This is News Channel 15's First News Weekend.
We want to be very clear that we stand together with them in the fight against terrorism and extremism.
At least 120 people are dead and many more wounded after 7 coordinated attacks in Paris last night. Good morning, I'm Gina Galeros. We'll get to your local news in just a bit, but first, the world is mourning with the people of France. New this morning, we've learned that Islamic militants have just claimed responsibility for the attacks that killed 128 people. France's president called it, quote, an act of war. ISIS claimed responsibility after President Francois Hollande spoke this morning. Investigators believe more terrorists are involved and continue to look for details involving the attacks. CBS's Jonathan Migliotti has more from France.
A photographer taking cover captured the chaos as explosions and gunfire rocked the Bataclan Theater. Paris police say inside the entertainment hall, at least 2 terrorists fired assault rifles, launched grenades, and took about 100 hostages during a packed concert. An American living nearby said it looked like a scene from a horror movie.
I just never seen anything like that, especially in Paris, and it was terrifying.
By the time police stormed the theater, terrorists had killed dozens of hostages. And it wasn't over. 2 suicide bombers struck outside a sports stadium north of Paris, where a soccer match was underway. Fans crowded the field as security teams evacuated the French president, who was at the game. This fan says his cell phone stopped shrapnel from hitting him. It's the phone that took the shot. It's what saved me, he said. Not everyone was as lucky. At least 120 people died in at least 6 separate terror attacks Friday night. Officials say at least 8 attackers were behind what is thought to be a series of well-coordinated assaults on the French capital. Police believe all of the terrorists were killed. Jonathan Vigliotti, CBS News.
The Friday the 13th attack is the deadliest in Europe since the Madrid train bombings in 2004 that killed 191 people. While yesterday's attacks are truly shocking, Paris is no stranger to terrorist violence. In fact, over the last 35 years, there have been more than 10 major attacks in the city. Here's a snapshot of some of the larger incidents. In 1980, a bomb exploded outside of a synagogue, killing 4 people and wounding 20 more. In 1982 and 83, there were 4 separate bombing attacks, claiming the lives of 19 people and wounding dozens more. 3 years later, in 1986, a pro-Iranian group detonated an explosive device inside a department store, killing 7 people. The violence seemed to subside until 1995 and 96, when 2 more bombs exploded on metro lines, killing a total of 12 people and injuring dozens of others. In March of 2012, a man shot and killed 3 soldiers before fleeing and killing 3 more students and a teacher at a Jewish school. The last major attack happened back in January when 3 gunmen stormed the headquarters of the French satirical paper Charlie Hebdo and killed 12 people. Indiana Senator Dan Coats issued this statement regarding the attacks. He says, quote, the attacks in Paris are horrific and an unprecedented form of evil intended to disrupt the lives of free people. I ask Hoosiers to join me in praying for France, our first and oldest ally, and its citizens. This isn't just an attack on Paris. This is an attack on the civilized world. Coates goes on to say the U.S. and Western nations are dealing with security challenges that cannot be resolved through diplomacy. The U.S. Secretary of Defense Ash Carter also commented on the attacks. He said, quote, for more than 200 years, the United States and France have stood together in friendship. We have stood for the common good and security of all nations. We have never stood closer than we do now. Viva la France. For the latest on the attacks, stick with News Channel 15, both on air and online at WANE.com. Allen County's Homeland Security Director is also speaking out about the attacks in Paris. Bernie Byers says it's another reminder terrorism is an inescapable reality now. He says there is no evidence of potential threats to the United States, and Homeland Security has been in contact with local and federal officials all day, staying on top of the situation.
Our senses are raised. We recognize we're looking for that situational awareness. What's going on over there? What's it mean for us? What could it mean? What do we need to know to make a decision is kind of where we're at today. A long time ago, 15, 20 years ago, we used to follow major terrorist groups that met clandestinely, and the cells got together and all those things in safe houses and cabins in the woods. Well, now with social media, those groups are virtual groups.
We touched base with area universities about students who might be studying abroad. It does not appear there are any students or faculty in Paris. There is one IPFW student in South France, a safe distance from the violence. Well, the attacks stir up memories of the 9/11 attacks in New York. And now, a piece of history from that tragic day is making a stop in Auburn. A rescue truck used by New York firefighters on September 11th is at the National Military History Center. In 2011, it was about to be scrapped before a group of New York firefighters stepped in to save it. They say the truck is an important part of U.S. history.
We have people that, will cry. We'll have people that get angry. We'll have people that, are just, they don't know what to say. We'll have people that break down. And the truck is supposed to evoke emotion. It represents an event that changed this world forever.
The truck will be on display through the end of August next year. That's the longest time the rescue truck will be stopped in one place. Fort Wayne fire crews were called to an apartment house fire overnight. It happened just before 1 a.m. in the 1200 block of Sweeney Avenue. That's between College and Nelson Streets, just southwest of downtown. There are several apartments inside that house. None of the residents were injured, but 2 cats did die. The fire started in the lower level and moved up, with most of the damage being on the back side of the building. It took firefighters about half an hour to get it under control. No word at this time what might have started that fire. All right, moving to our local weather here. It was a frosty morning for many. Meteorologist Rob Leidick is here with a look at what our weekend looks like.
That's right, but if you wake up early this morning, Gina, what's that? You don't hear the wind. The wind has calmed down finally after the windy conditions that we've seen the past couple of days, and we're waking up to beautiful sunshine right now. Take a look at our Parkview field cam. Not a cloud in the sky this morning, and that's all thanks to high pressure settled over the Midwest. We're at 29 degrees this hour at the airport. That is our low so far for the morning. Winds very calm coming in from the west-southwest at only around 5 miles per hour. Across the area, we have a few high clouds just off to the north of Fort Wayne. Otherwise, we will see those dissipate, and we look for plenty of sunshine throughout much of the day today. Temperature-wise, we should be pretty seasonable as we head into the afternoon hours. We'll be in the mid-40s here by around lunchtime, just light breeze from the southwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. 51 our high today at 3 p.m., and then 48 by around 6, so clear skies for the Jefferson Point tree lighting this evening. We'll take a look at the rest of your weekend forecast and also talk about some rain next week. That's coming up in just a bit.
Okay, thanks, Rob. To a bit of good news now. A Summit City teacher has been awarded the title of Teacher of the Year. Jean Russell, a literacy specialist at Haverhill Elementary, became the 2016 Indiana Teacher of the Year at a ceremony in Indianapolis yesterday. She says she hopes to spend her time as Teacher of the Year as an ambassador of her profession, encouraging her fellow teachers and hopefully inspiring more young people to pursue the career.
All along, I've said that the only way I can really be comfortable with this is as a representative. And I just, I promise that I will try to shine a light on all the great things that teachers are doing as often as I possibly can in my year of service.
Russell was chosen from 10 finalists and dozens of initial nominations. Students from the Career Academy at Anthus are getting hands-on experience working on the building they'll soon call home. The students are part of the construction trades program at Anthus. The program is moving from a building on East Douglas Street to Murray Street, just south of downtown. The students are working alongside contractors getting the building ready. A lesson plan unlike any you would find in a classroom.
It's really nice to be able to get out in the field and actually experience it with my hands and not just out of a textbook. It's really neat. It's a good opportunity just to actually learn what you're doing as you're doing it.
A construction trades instructor tells us the experience has led to job opportunities for a couple of the students already in the program. Coming up on First News, the Democrats will battle it out in their third debate tonight. Plus, nothing goes better with football season than a nice cold one. Coming up a little later, a local award-winning brewery is here with some favorites.